Okay. So today we'll start with RESTful web services. Let's see how to work with this RESTful web services here. So let's try to understand a few things about RESTful web services first of all. You see, REST is actually an architectural style that specifies constraints such as uniform interface that if applied to a web service. So in-use properties such as performance, scalability, modifiability that enable services to work best online. So it is just an architecture which can be implemented using different programming languages. Okay. You know, in REST architectural style, the second point, data and functionality are considered resources. Yes. Here, in REST architectural style, you'll find that the data as well as the functionality are considered resources and are accessed using URI. Typically, links on the web, you can see. Typically, they are links. Everything is considered as a resource. Just a minute. So everything is considered as a resource. Everything is considered as a resource. Yes. Both the data and functionality are considered as resources and are accessed using URIs, typically links on the web, I can say. Next, you see the REST architectural style constrains an architecture to client server. Basically, REST is based on client server architecture. Okay, it is the same architecture which we use in web applications. Basically, you see, this web services are web applications itself. Yes, you can say that. Web applications are web services itself. Web services are web applications itself, web-based applications itself. But yeah, they're extended. We'll see. You see, it says the REST architectural style constrains an architecture to client-server architecture. It is based on client-server architecture and is designed to use a stateless communication protocol. It is designed to use a stateless communication protocol, typically HTTP. Yes, REST is particularly designed to work with HTTP. Yes, this architecture is based on HTTP, I can say. Yes. So please make a note of it, all of you. Make a note of these points. Slowly, one by one, you'll understand them. So we'll see. First of all of you, please make a note of these points. Okay. Let me know once you're done. Okay. So next, also please make a note of these points. So in the last class, I was talking about Jersey, right? Just make note of it. So you see, Jersey, as I told you, people like you can't work alone with this JAX RS API. So along with JAX RS API, you will need Jersey. Along with JAX RS API, you will need Jersey. So Jersey is a RESTful web services framework, is open source production quality framework for developing RESTful web services in Java that provides support for JAX RS APIs and serves as a JAX RS reference implementation. Yes. So we are going to use this framework called as Jersey. Now you see in RESTful services you'll have root resource classes. Please also make a note of it. We'll see that. So root resource classes are posers that are either annotated with @path or have at least one method annotated with path or a request method designator. Web services are developed, RESTful web services are developed using this root resource classes itself. Okay, so web services basically, you'll find that you'll be developing them using this root resource classes. Yes, the root resource classes, that's it. Yes, that's it. Okay, so now we'll start developing this RESTful web services. But to develop this RESTful web services, I'm going to use a tool called as Maven. I'm going to use this tool called as Maven. Yes. So this Maven tool, it's actually a build tool which is used, not only it's just specific to RESTful web services, but you can develop any Java application using this tool. You can use this tool. It helps us. It will assist us a lot in the application development, I can say. Now you're going to see that. So Maven is called as a build tool. We call it as a build tool actually. Yes. Um, Regarding Maven also, just make a note of it. So Maven is from Apache Software Foundation. It's taking time. So Apache Maven is a software project management and comprehension tool. Yes. You'll find that it is based on the concept of project object model. Maven can manage projects, build, reporting, documenting, almost everything. Yes. Okay. So generally, when we talk about an application development, you see, so the first thing what we need to do is we need to start with creating that application structure. Okay. We'll start with creating the application structure. Now you see for different types of applications you'll have different structures. They won't be same. The next thing is here, you know, after that application structure is created, what you need some libraries, we say dependencies. So what are the dependencies here or libraries which are needed? Yes. So it depends on the project now. For each project, now it depends on what frameworks you're using, okay, what APIs you're using. Based on that, you need some libraries or dependencies, I can say. So now you need to make sure that you acquire all those things. Manually, you'll be downloading the libraries. We saw that for Hibernate, we are doing it, right? You will download the libraries and you'll add them to the project and all. Yes. So after that, you know, making sure that this code is compiled and appropriate, deployable files are created like jar files, var files based on the application type. So these are all the things which also needs to be taken care, right? Yes. Here, whatever I've mentioned now, right from the application project structure, you know, obtaining the dependencies, it is acquiring the libraries and all which are needed, building the project, compiling the code, and appropriately creating the deployable files like var, jar files, whatever it is. So in every aspect, I can say that your Maven can help us. Your Maven. tool will help us. So let's do one thing. First of all, I'll give you the details from where to download this Maven. So you see, this is a link from where you can download this Maven tool. Okay, so you have this binary zip file, right? You can download this one. Binary zip file, not source file. You'll find source file and zip file. Download the binary zip file, not the source file. Generally, your projects, real-time projects and all, so they will be managed using this Maven itself. Yeah. Okay. So it's a zip file normally. Once you're done downloading the zip file, so what you need to do is here, you need to extract it, and once you're done extracting it, you see this is how it looks like. The extracted folder will contain all these files. Okay, make sure that you extract it somewhere. Okay, and make sure that you don't move it again. Okay, you should not move that file again. You extract it somewhere from where you're not going to move again. Okay, so now after you're done extracting this file, so what's the next thing you need to do is here, go to this properties, my computer properties, go to my computer's properties, open advanced system settings, please make a note of it, open advanced system settings. Yes. Click on this advanced system settings. You see in the advanced system settings you'll find environmental variables. The last button here is environmental variables. So open that environmental variables, click on that environmental variables. Make sure that you have configured Java Home. Make sure that you have configured Java Home. So first of all, you see that variable Java Home. Make sure that you have configured. Okay. After you're done configuring the Java Home, you see, make sure that it refers to the JDK folder. The Java Home here, it should be referring to the JDK folder. Okay. Wherever you have JDK, make sure that it refers to that folder. Okay. Next, down in the system variables, you'll find path. In the system variables, you'll find path. Select it and click on edit. Now in the path, go to the end of this path. You see your variable value, right? Go to the end of the variable value and add a semicolon over there. And after adding the semicolon, now make sure that here you copy the path till bin directory of this Apache Maven folder. In the Apache Maven, you should see a bin folder. Make sure that you copy the path till that bin folder. Okay. Make sure that you copy the path till bin folder. Yes. and you add it here at the end, append it to this variable value path which you got already. Okay, yes. Don't remove this path, existing path here, only append it, add a semicolon, and then paste that Maven bin folder path here, till Maven bin folder path. Yeah, that's it. That is what you need to do. So hope everyone got it right. Yes, click on OK. All OKs. No, okay, all OKs. So after you're done with it, now from the command prompt, just check whether your Maven tool is working or not. Okay. So how will you check whether your Maven tool is working or not? Type in Maven MVN hyphen version. MVN space hyphen version. Yes. Okay. And press enter. So when you do this, you see, you should be able to view all these details. Okay. Yes. Okay. Your Apache version, Maven location, home, Java version, Java path, everything, operating system details, everything, you'll get it. Okay. Yes. Fine. Next, now you see, we can use this Maven now to create a project structures and all. Let's try to do that. Okay. Yes. Just a minute. So I have a folder called as MVN. So you can create any folder you wish. I got this folder called as MVN work. Now I'll move into this folder, and here I'll create a project. Okay, let's try to do that. You know, you got 5 minutes tutorials for Maven. Official site itself will provide you people Maven 5 minutes tutorials. You can just refer to it. Okay. So now I would like to create a Java project, a very basic Java project. So you see, this is the command for that. MVN archetype. I'll first explain this, but you don't need to do this manually. We have tools for this also. You see, um, to create each type of project, okay, in order to create each type of project, you have project templates in Maven. Maven provides project templates, I can say. Maven basically provides project templates for creating different types of projects. Like for web applications, you'll find a project template. Okay, so for standalone applications, you'll find a project template. Again, you see, web applications, you'll be developing it using different frameworks and all, right? Even for that, you'll find appropriate project templates and all. Okay, yes, fine. Um, Now let's use this Maven and its project templates to create a project. Okay, yes. Archetype generate. Here it indicates that we want to create a Maven, a Java project here. We want to create a project. Okay. Yes. We want to create a project. You see the group ID, the switch group ID here, you'll find that it indicates it is used to specify the package structure which you want to use in the application. Okay. So what is the project sorry, package structure which you want to follow here? Okay. Yes. What package structure you want to follow? See, let's say it is com dot I'll change this. Let's say mtc dot app. In the projects generally you will find that a package structure will be followed. First you'll have the domain name. That means that application, it is what type of application, whether it is a commercial application or organizations or any education site or whatever it is, the domain name indicates it first of all. Okay. Yes. Followed by that you'll have the company name, and then the the application name. For every application there have a name, right? Followed by that you'll have module names and all. Yes. So that is the package structure which is followed. Okay. Yes. So so group ID is used to specify the package details, I can say. Next, you got artifact ID. Please make a note of it, all of you. Okay. So group ID is used to specify the package details. Next, we got artifact ID. Artifact ID is used to specify the project name or application name, you can say. So what is the name of the project which you want here? The project name is specified using artifact ID. Here, what is the name? You see, it is my app. So you can change it if you want. Okay. As of now, it is my app. Let it be my app. This is the application name now. Next, archetype artifact ID. This is very important. Now, this archetype artifact ID itself is used to specify what type of application you want to create. That means this is a template, I can say, which helps Maven to understand what type of project you are expecting. You see, in this case, it is specified as Maven Archetype Quick Start. It's one of the templates, I can say, which creates a simple Java project. What it does, it creates a simple Java project here. Yes, it creates a simple Java project. Okay. So this similarly you'll have different archetypes. So if you want to create a web application, you'll have a different archetype. Okay. If you want to create a web application, you'll find a different archetype for it. Yes. If you want to use some frameworks and again you'll have a different archetype. So this archetype itself, it indicates that project structure, I can say, like what project structure you want, that will be specified. Next, you see, we have this interactive mode, the last option. Interactive mode is false. That means, you see, if we set this interactive mode to false, then it won't ask for confirmation. Okay. So otherwise, for every step which it performs, it will ask for confirmations and all. Okay. Yes. Fine. So now let's copy this. Sorry. Let's use this command now to create a project. You see, as of now, the directories here are only three in that MVN project folder. One is RESTful proj, the other one is sample proj, and the other one is sample rest proj. That's it. Now I'll paste this. Okay, and I'll press enter. Let's see what happens. Okay, you see, now the Maven, based on that information which you have provided, it has created a project here. Sorry, it has created a project for us. Okay, so let's check this once. Okay, we'll go through this once. You see, this is the folder or the directory which is created now, my app, which represents that application, my app. Okay, let's open this my app. In this my app folder, now the first thing which you will notice here is the pom.xml file. Pom, it stands for project object model. Pom stands for project object model. Okay, Pom means project object model. Please make a note of it. Okay, it's an XML file, and this is the main or the key here. So Maven, you know, it reads this XML file. If you want to instruct Maven, or if you want Maven to do anything, okay, you have to ask the Maven to do that using this pom.xml file itself. Through the pom.xml file itself, I can say that you will communicate with Pom, I can say. Yes. You see, this model version is related to Maven. Next, the group ID, we saw that it's a package structure which you want to create. The next thing is like you have this artifact ID, the application name. The packaging is jar. It's a deployable unit. You see, because we have specified it as simple Java application. So for normal Java applications, the packaging unit will be the jar file itself. Okay. Yes. If it is a web application, what will be the packaging unit? Any idea? If it is web application, so the deployable unit which is created, okay, so it will be WAR file, WAR, web archive. Okay. If it is an enterprise application, you'll find that it will be EAR. It will be EAR. Now it depends. So we'll see those files also slowly. Now here you see the version. It indicates the version of this application. As of now, this is the first version of this application, right? Yes. So it's a snapshot, 1.0 snapshot. So version, it indicates that release. If it is the first release, you see 1. And you see generally for applications, if you do any, if you have any minor changes, if you are done to the application, again you'll release it. After making minor changes to the application, you'll release it. Okay. Yes. So that version here will indicate it. You see, if you have done any minor changes, let's say you've released it first. After the first release, you have done few minor changes. Maybe you have fixed some bugs and all. Now the release will be 1.1 or something. Okay, 1.1. Again, if you have done any minor changes, again you'll release the project. You'll do 1.2. Okay, the release will be 1.2. So the decimal will be used. Point. Okay. Yes. So this way you'll specify that release versions. If it is any major release, let's say after first release, okay, you have done some minor releases and you'll use 0.1, 0.2, 0.3 and so on like that. Let's say after that you have done major changes to the application, added some additional functionalities or something like that, you revamped it. So, or removed any functionalities. In that case, now it will be a major release where we'll change this number from 1 to 2. Okay, then it becomes 1.1, 1.2 and so on like that. Yes, sorry, 2, not 1, 2.0. Any major changes, now you'll use this number. Yeah. Okay, fine. See here, the name element. What is this name here? This is the name element here. It refers to that jar file name. What name you want to give to that jar file which will be generated? Okay. Yes. What name has to be given to that jar file? That is what is specified here. Okay. Next, the URL. It's just the location of that central repository location. We'll see what is a repository. The Maven uses it. Yeah. Next, we have dependencies. See, dependencies means here I can say we are referring to the libraries or the jars which are needed for this application. For example, you are developing a web application. So when you're developing a web application, you need servlet APIs like uh, JSP libraries, and you need, let's say you're using Hibernate in it, so you need Hibernate libraries. Let's say you're using JSTL, you need JSTL. You're using JAXP, you need JAXP libraries, right? So the dependencies here, they represent the libraries which are needed for the project. As of now, you see, in this dependencies list, you have one dependency, that is JUnit. That means by default, the Maven adds it. That means it indicates that this project needs JUnit libraries. It needs JUnit libraries. That's it. Okay. So Maven, what it does, now it will download that JUnit libraries and it will add them to this project here. Okay. Yes. You know, now from where it is going to download these libraries, what do you people think? From where it is going to download this libraries here? Yes. Yes. You know what it does? So of course it needs internet for this. It will have locations. We got something called a central repository, which is somewhere on a remote machine. Okay, it is somewhere on the remote machine. So it uses, first of all, it you'll find that you have two repositories. One is central repository and local repository. First, Maven, what it does is it will check for those libraries in the local repository. Local repository means it will be on the same machine. Okay, it will be on the same machine. Yes, it will be on the same machine. So if it finds it in the same machine, then okay, it will copy that library and it will add it to the project. For suppose if it didn't find that library or that jar file in the local repository, then it refers to the remote repository, you can say. It refers to the remote repository, you can say. Okay, that is what it does. So remote repository, it's somewhere on the remote machine, somewhere from the internet, it will download it. So you know what, here the local repository will be created by Maven itself. Local repository, will find that it will create the local repository whenever it downloads the libraries from the remote repository. Okay, whenever it downloads the libraries from the remote repositories, what it does is it will maintain that libraries in that local repository. Okay, yes, the way you see your browsers will be caching the resources, right? Similarly, here the Maven also will maintain the libraries, or will maintain a copy, will store that copy of that libraries in the local repository itself. So where is this local repository? I'll show you people. Generally, for the normal settings, you will find it here in users folder will be there, 9 Windows users folder. You see, this is yes, it will download by itself. That is what I'm saying. So under the users folder, you'll find a account with one of the users, right? In that, you see you'll have .m2 folder, .m2. If you open it, you'll find the repository folder. You see, these are all the folders where you'll find the libraries for different frameworks and all such things. Okay, yes. So it will store all that libraries here in this local repository. Whenever it downloads it, by default it won't download it. Only when you see in the project structure, you'll find that it will be making whenever you see, as of now, for suppose for the first time you're executing Maven on this machine. So what it does is, okay, for the first time if it is executing, then you won't find this library, JUnit library in this local repository. Let's say it will create a new local repository. Now you see it will download it. After downloading it, it will maintain a copy of that file, the jar file in that local repository, and it adds it to one another copy to add it to the project. Now you see from the next time, whenever you need a for the, let's say now we have created another project. In that project also I've mentioned JUnit. That is the second project which you have created. This time you see what it does is it will check in the local repository first. Already it is in the local repository, so it won't refer to the remote repositories for that library. Okay, yes, that is how it works. So hope you people got it. Yes. So this is what you got here. Okay, yeah. This is about the pom.xml file, and you'll learn more about it. Okay, while we create other applications and projects. Okay, yes. Now I'm providing you the basic information which is needed. Next, now let's go through the project structure. You see, in the same file, in that project, you see, you'll also find you'll also find source folder. Okay, SRC folder. You see, in the SRC folder, now this is also created by your Maven tool itself. The SRC folder is also created by the Maven tool itself. Okay, let's open this SRC folder. You have a main folder here. Open this main folder. Under that you'll find Java folder. Under that you'll find the subfolders like com, mtc, app. You see, that is a folder structure which I've mentioned. Now that folder that packages package structure is mentioned, right? So that is the same package structure which you will be able to see now. Yes, it has created the project structure, package structure, and you see, and it also added a sample class here. It also added a sample class here. Yes, that is what happens. Okay. Yes. So this way it creates the package structures and all. Fine. You see, complete project structure itself. Now we have another folder where you'll find all the test cases and all. Yes, so you'll find them here. Now in that app class, let's see what is this. This is a sample class which is added. If you want, you can use it or you can just remove it. Okay, don't worry about it. So it's not mandatory that it should be in this project Maven project. Okay, So just for testing purpose it adds it, that's it. Okay, yes, default it adds it. Yeah, okay. So now in this app class you see you got a main method, and in that main method you see we have a SOP statement which prints hello world. Yeah, that's it. So now I would like to run this program. What to do? Okay, so in order to run this program here, first of all you need to build this application. That means make sure that your project code is compiled. Okay, yes, an appropriate deployable file is created and all. So now, okay, you may add several Java classes here. Okay, several source files and all Java classes and all here to this particular folder. Um, to this project I can say. Once you're done, now we can ask Maven to build this project. Okay, yes. So let's see how to ask Maven to build this project so that it generates the class files. You see, as of now, uh, you have a source folder and you have a test folder and main folder. In the test folder, you'll have test cases, all the test cases. The testing code will be there. Yes. These are the only two files which you'll see in that project folder now. Okay. Yes. Now let's do one thing. Now from the command line, let's ask Maven to build this project. You see, for that again, you'll have a command. So if you're using this 5 minutes Maven tutorial, it will explain everything in detail. Okay, you can go through it. You see, we have a command for building the project. You have Maven package. Okay. Now, first of all, you have to make sure that you move into that project folder. Okay, move into that project folder where you have the pom.xml file. Make sure that from the command line, move into the project folder where you have that pom.xml file. Okay, yes, you should be in that pom.xml file in order to build that. Sorry, you should be in the folder, same folder we have that pom.xml file. Yes. Now what to do? Now you can just type in this mvn space package. So now your Maven will be invoked, and we are instructing it to build the project using this package command. So Maven, what it does is Maven now it will search for that pom.xml file in that folder. So you see in that current directory it will search for the pom.xml file. So it will read that pom.xml file. It understands the dependencies and everything from the pom.xml file, and now it will accordingly build that project. You see, I'll press enter. Okay. What it did here, can you people tell me by looking at this output? Yes. What this Maven tool did here. So first of all, it has compiled the code, and then that code, yes, which it has compiled. What it did with that code, it has added to that jar file. It created a jar file. Okay, yes, this is all the build process I can say. Yes. Okay, fine. Now you see, let's go to that app folder, that project folder. Do you see any additional files here? Do you see any additional files here? Yes, target folder. You'll find this additional folder called as target folder here. Earlier it was not there, now it is created. Let's see what exactly we have here in this target folder. You'll find various files here. One thing what you need to understand is this jar file which is created here. Okay, and all other files Maven has used it while creating this build. Okay, while building the project, it has used other files. They're all temporary files, I can say. So the jar file is created. Now you can use it. Okay, yes, it's ready. So let's see what is the content in this jar file. So you got this com mtc app. You have this app class dot class file, and we have this meta folder. So we'll see why do we use this meta folder. Soon we are going to do that. So these are the two things which you have. That means you have that compiled classes in the jar file. Okay. Now I would like to execute that class which you got here, app class. That app class you got main method, right, which displays hello world. I'd like to run the app class. What to do? Here you see what to do. Let's see. Now from the command line, if you want to execute any Java program, use Java for here. Java. Java is the command. It's not from Maven. It is actually from your Java itself. So it's one of the tools to invoke JVM, I can say. Okay. Yes. So you see Java is a command which is used to call JVM. We are calling the JVM, I can say. Okay. Yes. So here followed by Java I have CP. CP means any idea? CP means it's nothing but class paths. Class path, and you see that class path followed by that you have a path here which refers to that jar file. It actually refers to the jar file here. Yes. So now in that jar file, that is the path we are setting. So that means we are asking Java to look for the class which it has to execute in that jar file. Asking your JVM or your Java to look for the classes in the jar file which it has to execute. Now followed by that you have specified the class name com.mtc.app. So that is the class which your JVM has to execute. That is the class which your JVM needs to execute here. Okay, yes. Okay, that's it. Let's run this code. You see, it executed. You got this output, hello world. So this way, Maven can help you people to create a project, to build project and everything, right from creating the project structures, supplying the dependencies and all. Yes. So hope you people got it. So any questions or doubts in this regard, please let me know. Okay, good. As of now, this jar file which you have created here, it's not an executable jar file. We can make it an executable jar file here, okay? And I want you people to just go through this Maven phases which you got later on, okay, from this 5 minutes tutorial from the official site, okay? Yes, please do that. Now you know what, here this jar file which you have created is not executable jar file. How to create an executable jar file? Executable jar file means any idea? Uh, Not deployed on the server. You see, as of now, this is very basic application, right? We can't deploy it on the server. It's not possible. Executable jar. As of now, you see here, what we are doing is in order to execute that class. Now you see, uh, we need to mention that class name, right? We have to mention that class name explicitly. and then only your JVM will load that class and it will execute it. What I want to do is I would like to directly pass that jar file to the JVM, and JVM should be able to understand the class in which it has got the main method. In an application, you may have several classes, right? But that class file is only in one of the methods. Yes, that class file is only in one of the methods, I can say, right? Yes. Sorry, the main method is only in one of the methods. Yes, you got the point. So when we run this program, that jar file, we should not provide that main class details to the JVM explicitly. That means main class in the sense the class in which you got that main method. So JVM should be able to identify where is that class in which you got the main method, and it should be able to execute it. Okay, so but how is it possible? You see, in this case, we can configure that main class details in that jar file. We can configure that main class details in that jar file itself. Okay, let's see how to configure the main class details in that jar file. Okay, so as of now we have only one class. In this class itself you have that main class, sorry, main method, right? But when it comes to projects, you may have several classes and only one of the classes will have that main method, right? Main class means I'm talking about the class in which you got that main method. Okay, yes. So what you can do is here, you need to configure these details explicitly. You have to type in considerable amount of code. Just let me see whether we have this code here, or no, we don't have it. Let me check. Let me see whether I have it here. Ant is another tool. Prior to Maven, Ant was used, but now uh, we don't use Ant. Ant as Maven has replaced Ant. So Maven internally uses Ant, I can say. Maven, what it does is internally it will make use of Ant. Yes. In case of Ant, we didn't have this much of flexibility. We have to write considerable amount of code again. Uh, you know, if you want the Ant tool to build the project. Ant also is used for building projects, but now we don't use it. Yeah, I don't see that. Okay, let me search. creating executable jar. Even yes, shade plugin. So we have such code. Just let me see. Yeah, they're using shade plugin. Yeah. Okay. Here it is in the official site. This is simple. So let's add it here. Plugin management, plugins. Now this is a plugin, Maven jar plugin. You see, add class path, okay, true, and the main class name you have to mention it here. Everything should be as is. The main class name, this is what you need to modify here. com.mtc.app. What is the class name? It is app, right? That's it. So that plugin is already existing. Okay. Yes. Please make a note of it. Okay. Now again, we'll ask Maven to build this project because we have modified it. Okay, you got some errors. Let me see. Line number 18, malformed. Okay, plugin management. So I'll just add plugins. Says unrecognized tag. Okay, let's do this. Otherwise, I think I have to add it to build. Let me add it to this build element. Okay, now that the jar file is created, let's check this once. Just wrap that in build. Yeah, now I'll show you the difference here. Let's open this var file. Here you won't see any difference in the structure and all in the jar file. Open this Metain folder. In the Metain folder, you have this manifest.mf file. Open it. Yeah, you see in the manifest.mf file, you'll have this main class details now. Okay, you'll have that main class details. Okay, so now what you can do is you can just try executing this code here. Okay, now straight away I'll execute that jar file. I won't specify the main class details. Let's see what happens. Okay, sorry, just a minute. You see, now this is not just we are not running a plain Java class. So what we are doing is basically we are trying to execute the jar file. Okay, yes. So if you want to execute a jar file, what you need to do is just make this change. Use a switch hyphen jar. Okay, just a minute. First of all, I would like to avoid this one. Just a minute. Where are we? Go to the target folder and let's check once. What is that file name? Is it changed by any chance? No, right? Okay, now I'm in the same folder. I don't need CP. Let me see once. Yeah, yes. You see, it has become an executable jar file. Okay, it has become executable jar file. So once I execute it, straight away you're getting this output which prints hello world. Okay, so this way you see you can create an executable jar file. Now from where it is reading the main class details, from where the JVM is reading that main class details, yes. Yes. Yeah. So you have the details in the manifest file. Yes. In the manifest file, which is in the Matin folder, you have those details. This way, you can create an executable jar file. So hope you people got it. Now, hope you got enough details here. Next, sometimes what you need to do is you need to build a jar with the dependencies. That means with the libraries. As of now, this jar doesn't contain that libraries. What if you want to create a jar with the libraries? That I want you people to check once. Okay. Now, jar with libraries, executable jar with libraries, project libraries. Okay. Yeah. You see, we have seen this Maven project, right? Let's do one thing. Let's try to work with this application which you have created from the Eclipse IDE. So can we use Maven in Eclipse? Yes, of course. Maven Eclipse also supports Maven. Okay. Yes. Let's try to do that. So let's see. You can import that Maven project here. For that, do this. Use import option. Import. We have Maven option. Maven here. Maven wizards. One of the Maven wizard is import existing Maven projects. You see, existing Maven project. Click on next. Now browse to the location or the folder where you have this. Okay. My app. Okay. Sorry. Select this my app and click on OK. And click on finish. Okay. That's it. You see, you got this project here now. Okay. Okay. So you'll find the complete project structure here and everything. Good. So now this Maven is going to help us to easily create projects. Okay. Yes. And we can add dependencies and everything. Let's see how to work with it. Yes. Now we'll start developing RESTful web services And for that, we are going to take the help of Maven tool. Yeah, let's do that. Before that, let's take a 10 minutes break. And after the break, 10 minutes break, so we'll continue where we'll be creating this Maven projects and all. Okay, using that means RESTful web services with the help of Maven here. That is what we'll be doing. Yeah. Okay, so I'll just pause the meeting for a while. You can come back after 10 minutes. Make sure that uh, you're on time. Okay, so that you can make a note of that steps to create a RESTful web services project using Maven. Yeah. Okay, fine. I'm muting myself. Okay, so hope everyone is back, and hope you're able to hear me, right? Can you people hear me? Okay. Is everyone back? So, yeah, Anupama. So you have to use binary files. Download binary. Okay. So now we'll develop a RESTful web service here. Okay. First of all, you know that web services are web applications itself, right? Yeah. Now I'm going to create a RESTful web service. Here, two APIs are going to play a key role. One is JAX RS, the other one is Jersey. JAX RS is a standard API, and this Jersey is a reference implementation. And it's a framework, RESTful web services framework, I can say. So you got official site here for Jersey. You see, already you have made a note of this point. Jersey RESTful Web Services framework is open source production quality framework for developing RESTful Web Services. Yeah. That provides support for JAX Service API. It serves as a reference implementation here. Okay, yes, it serves as a reference implementation. Now you need a Jersey libraries to work with this Jersey framework. You have download links here, and also you see these are the list of dependencies, Maven dependencies. You see, they are providing you. Sorry, they are providing you people the Maven dependencies also. So these are all the dependencies for Maven. If you are using Maven to develop that RESTful web services, you need this. Okay. So you got complete details about it here. Just a second. There should be a Maven command also. You see, they also provide this Maven command, which you can use to create that Maven project. Okay. Which will automatically add that Maven dependencies and all. Yes, it should be able to do that. Now, the group ID will change it. Let me do this. com.ntc.org. Artifact ID also I'll change it. Let's say RESTful proj. We'll copy this. Let's try to execute this command. Here you see in this MVN folder itself I'm doing it. Already we have RESTful project. Okay. I'll name it as a sample RESTful proj. Okay. Now I would like to execute this Maven command, so which is going to create a RESTful project for us. Oh, sorry, just a second.
Please,
mute the mic. I guess they didn't notice it. Handling children is the most toughest job. I know. I have 2 kids. Yeah. My daughter was okay, but when it came to my son, He is younger. Now we have to be very active to manage him, to handle him. Yeah. I guess this is part of the life where you will enjoy a lot with your kids when they are small. They'll make them happy. They'll make you people happy in every moment. Okay. Yeah. Fine. So I did execute that command. So I'll paste that command for you people in the go to meeting chat. All of you take this. This is a command. And also let me add it to the Dropbox folder once. Why I'm not getting a let me do this. RESTful MVN command. Okay. So it will be in your Dropbox folder. Now you see we have come to a stage where the tools will greatly simplify the development process for us. But of course, we have to write the business logic. We have to handle many things. Okay. Yeah. Now you see we got the sample RESTful proj. Oh my goodness. Why we have two? Okay, fine. That is a difference. This one we have created it now. You see. Now first of all, I want to show you people the pom.xml file. You see the package structure which I've mentioned here, pom.mtc.app, the project name, and the jar file. Actually, it should be a var file. We'll change it. You see dependency management. The dependencies here. So it has been added here. So it will be taken care. So the dependencies will be added. Okay. Yes. Fine. So this is the pom.xml file which is created for us. Down we have properties. You know what are these properties? Properties are nothing but I can say they are variables. I can say they are temporary variables. Temp variables. You see jersey dot version is one variable now. I can say we call it as a property in Maven. What is the property value? what is the property value? It is 2.2, 2.1. So with which version of Jersey we are working is 2.2.2. Okay, yes, 2.22. That is the version of Jersey which you're using here. Okay, please remember. In the project to build, that is another variable. Yes. Now we have two variables here. Yes. So now let's do one thing. I'll import this project here into this Eclipse IDE because we can't literally type that code, in the notepad. We can't do that. Let's do that. Here I'm importing that Maven project here. Import. Existing Maven project. Click on next. Browse to the folder where you have that Maven project. MVN work. Here I have that sample RESTful project. Select it. Click on OK. Finish. You see, here actually it should be a web application. A simple project is created. Let's convert it into a web project. But actually we should get completely, just a minute please, let me check once. Oh sorry, I've used a wrong, we have created a simple RESTful project without web, so we'll do it with web. Okay, I'm sorry, just a minute, let me delete it completely. Okay, let me use this command here. Copy it. So here the group ID, I'll change it. Let's say com.mtc.app. Okay. Next, the project name. Sample REST project, let's say. Package also. Okay, I'll copy this. I'll paste it here. Now you see what it is doing. It is downloading the jars required. Okay, yes, and it creates this project here. Sample REST project. Now you see the difference in the structure. Under the main you have Java, resources, and web app folder where you have webinf folder. Under that you have a web.xml file where you have the basic configurations which are needed. I'll tell you, it's very important, so it helps us a lot. Yes. Let's import that project here. Okay, first of all, I'll paste that command here. You see that is a command. You can just paste it somewhere. Shall I replace it in this Dropbox folder? Okay, so let's import that project. So you'll find that there is a change in the structure this time. Okay, it's a web project. Now, here, the first thing what you need to notice is, I'll tell you, there is some error here. Let's see. Okay, after creating this project, first of all, what you will do is, add the target runtime. This is a web-based application, so we need to add target runtime. What is target runtime? What is target runtime? Yes. Target runtime means, on which server you want to host this application. It's a web application itself. So on which server you want to host this application. That is what it indicates here. So select the project, right click on it, go to the properties. Now here we have targeted runtime. Check this targeted runtimes. You select on the left side, you have targeted runtimes. Now once you select it, on the right side you see the servers which are integrated here. Okay, servers which are integrated. So Apache Tomcat 7, and I'll click on apply and finish. Okay, that's it. See, once you add the server, the errors are gone. Now I would like to show you people some things here. You see, especially that Maven dependencies, you will find that under the Maven dependencies you have these files. What are these files? Can you people tell me? What are these files under the Maven dependencies list? They're all the Jersey libraries here. And who added this Jersey libraries? Yes. So who added this Jersey libraries here? So Maven. Okay. So your Maven tool did this. It has added this Jersey libraries. Okay. Fine. So this way, you see, Maven helps us to create this project structures, you know, add set dependencies and all such things. Now let's do this now. Here we'll go through this web app folder. In the web app, you have webinf. Under the webinf, you have this web.xml file. You see, in this web.xml file, you will find this servlet configuration. You'll find this servlet configuration here. So what is this servlet? This servlet it plays a key role. It is mainly responsible for intercepting the requests which are placed for this web services, and you'll find that this servlet itself will manage this, services, web services here, RESTful services here. Okay, the servlet itself will manage this RESTful services, I can say. Okay, yes, you will find that we need to configure initialization parameter. You see this initialization parameter. So that initialization parameter, that name is standard, it's fixed. That name is standard. Okay, yes. Now this parameter value, what is it? It refers to a package. It basically refers to a package. That package name, let's say I'll make it com.mtc.app.services. So what is this package? You see, this package here, it indicates that your RESTful web services, the RESTful web services classes will be in that package. RESTful service classes will be in that package here. That is what it indicates. Okay, RESTful service classes will be in that package. Okay, yeah, that is what it indicates. Fine. So hope you people got it, all of you. So now you'll find that the servlet itself is responsible for managing those RESTful service classes. We'll see them. What are these RESTful service classes? They will be managed by the this container, servlet container. It's a servlet itself. And you see, we are specifying that servlet classes are in that particular package. Okay, com.mtc.app.services. So it's user defined. It's not predefined. Okay, fine. Load on startup. What it indicates? Any idea? Load on startup. Yes. Load on startup. It indicates that as soon as the application loads, the web application loads, you know, this servlet has to be loaded. Load on startup. It indicates that as soon as the web application loads, the application, sorry, this servlet has to be loaded. As soon as the application starts, this servlet has to be loaded here. Okay, yes, that is what it indicates. Immediately the servlet should be loaded once the application starts. And what is this URI? Here, this is the URL of that servlet. I would like to change it. Let's say I'll make it REST. That means now this servlet will intercept all the client's request whose URL is REST. The prefix of that URL, if it is REST, then this servlet is going to intercept them. Actually, all the requests should go through this URL itself now. That means through the servlet answer. All the requests should go through this servlet itself. Yes. So initially this servlet will be intercepting those requests. Fine. So this is the basic configuration which you got here. That's it. Now, you see that Maven tool, what it did is it has added a default resource class, a sample resource class, I can say. Yes. It has added a sample resource class. This resource class itself is actually a RESTful service, I can say. This is actually a RESTful service here. You know, when you're making a note of this RESTful services, details about that RESTful services, as I told you people, you know, according to RESTful services, we use the term resource. What do we mean by resource here? Yes, can you people tell me? What do we mean by resource? You have made a note of it. The term resource is very important in RESTful web services. The data or functionality. Yes. Okay. Data or functionality in RESTful resources. Sorry, in RESTful services, we call them as a resource. Okay. Yes. So the term resource, it plays a key role here. Yeah. Fine. Now, you can call it as a RESTful service class, as I told you people, but generally the standard term which we use here is a resource class. We call it as a resource class. You have made a note of this point. What is it? A root resource class is any class which is annotated with path annotation, or whose method is annotated with path, right? Either the class or the method which is annotated with path annotation, that class is called as a resource class, right? That is what you have made a note of, right? You see, this class is annotated with path here. This class is annotated with path. This is a root resource class, I can say. It's actually a root resource class, I can say. Okay, yes, fine. So that means it's a web service here. Now in this root resource class, we got a method. I can say it's a resource method. Okay, I can say it is actually a resource method. That means a web service method here. A RESTful service method, I can say. Generally in the RESTful service methods, what exactly you'll have? You'll have some business logic in it or some functional in it. Okay, so each resource class method here, it's a service method, you can call it as. It has got some functionality in it, business logic or some functionality in it, I can say. It has got some business logic or some functionality in it. Yes, fine. So as of now, you see, you don't have any serious business logic or functionality. It's just the method get it, and that method, you see, when it is called, it returns that message. What is that message? Got it. That's it. Okay. Yes. Let's change this method name to something else. Okay. Let's say get message. Let's say hello world. Welcome to RESTful services. Okay. Yes. Now see, this method is annotated with @get. What is that @get here? @get, I can say that it is actually a method, HTTP method designator. Already you have made a note of it. If you can just check once, it is actually a HTTP method designator. Okay, it's a method designator. HTTP method designator. Please make a note of it. That get annotation over there. It's a HTTP method designator. So, which indicates that this method takes a GET request, and this method, it also indicates that here the basic operation of this method is a read operation, I can say. Yes, we'll discuss more about it later. Okay. Yes, as of now, yes, you can understand that here this get method, that get annotation indicates that the basic operation of that method is a read operation. Yes, and basically this method can take HTTP method get request. It can only handle get request, I can say. Yes. Okay. Next, producers is there. The annotation produces. Annotation produces, it indicates that this method, it produces what type of data, or it returns what type of data. Yes. So this method, it returns what type of data. You see, it returns text here, or plain text. Okay. Yes. It returns plain text, I can say. It actually returns plain text. Yes. Okay. Plain text. That's it. This way we'll be defining a RESTful service, I can say. Believe me, developing RESTful web services is very easy, simple and straightforward. The only thing is you should know the right procedure. And what I'm showing you people is a very right procedure here. Okay. Yes. So don't worry, we'll add some other logics also. Yes, not just simply displaying these messages. Okay, fine. So now we are all set to go, I can say. We're all done. Now what we need to do is simply we can deploy this application on the server. Okay, let's do this. Let's host it on the server. You know what? We can also create a deployable unit if you want. We got this Maven tool which helps us to do that. Okay, yes, it can create a deployable unit, that is a var file for us. You see the packaging is var here, have you noticed it? Let's do that. Okay, so you have this pom.xml file, right click on it, select that pom.xml file and right click on it, and you have this maven install option here, maven install. Okay, yes, select this maven install, maven install, select this one. Just wait. So your maven will build that project. Okay, so we'll create a var file. So it did that. Now you see you got a target folder. Earlier the target folder was not there, and you should see this sample rest proj var file. Now you can copy this var file. Okay, and you know what, you can paste it here in the Tomcat server web apps folder. Okay, now you can just I'll open it. Okay, let's open it once. You have webinf. You see under the lib folder it has added all the jars which are required for this project. Under the lib folder you have all the jars which are required for this particular project here, right? Yes, and you have classes. In the classes folder you have that my resource class. By default the Maven tool has added it, right? We are by default using it. Anyways, we'll create our own root resource classes. Okay, yes, but just initially we'll try to understand this. Okay, yeah, so now you have this complete project structure here. Now what I will do is I'll just start the server. We'll just start the server. I'm not deploying it here from the Eclipse IDE. I've created a var file, you see, with the help of that Maven tool. And now what we'll do is here, we'll just start the server. Already that var file I've added it to that Tomcat server. Okay, let's start the server. Yeah, so it started. Now here once the server is started, you'll find one change here, one difference. What is it? Have you noticed any difference here? Have you noticed any difference? Yes. In this folder, web folder, do you see any difference? I see one difference. You know what happened? Here, when the server has started, that var file which we have deployed, it has extracted that var file. You see this file, the selected file now, sample rest proj. It has extracted that var file. Okay, so it has extracted that var file, I can say. So hope you people got it. Can I have yes or no? Okay, so hope everyone got it. Yes, this is what happens. It will extract it. Fine. So generally, the web applications, this is how you'll be deploying them. We'll be creating var files and see, they'll be added to the server. So this is a Tomcat server. This is a procedure. For other servers also, you'll create a var file, but you won't directly copy it into web apps, or you won't find a web apps folder in generally in other servers. So you may be given different option to deploy that application. Okay, yeah. But var file is standard for web applications. Yep. Okay. Now we have started the server. Everything is fine. So let me just copy the URL. Okay, I need the URL. Just a second. Here the URL is sample rest proj. Now you see, I would like to call the service method here, the RESTful resource method. RESTful class method is a get message. I want to call it. You know how to call this method? I didn't explain one thing because I wanted to do it now. How can we call that method? How can we make use of that method here? How can we make use of that method? How can we call that method? Have you noticed it? For the path annotation, we have configured a URL. You see, for this RESTful resource, you'll find that you'll have a URL. You'll find that in RESTful services, the data or functionality, as I told you people, we call them as resources, and you'll have URLs. You can access them using URLs. Now you see this method has got some functionality. Now you can access this method using a URL, I can say. You can access this method using a URL. Yes. Okay. Yeah. So what is the URL which is configured here? That is my resource. That is the URL of this particular method. Sorry, that's class, not method. For that class, you got that URL. Then let's see how to use that class URL to call this method. Okay. So now I'll place a request for that URL, my resource. But before that, you have to make sure that you add that prefix rest, because the request has to go through that servlet, predefined servlet called a servlet container. So add the prefix rest, followed by that you'll add this URL my resource, which refers to that particular resource class. It refers to that resource class here, RESTful resource class. Okay, yes. That's it. Now let's place the request. Now you see, here we are placing a request for that URL my resource, right? Like, which HTTP method are we using here? What do you people think? Which HTTP method are we using here? Get. Yes. So whenever you place a HTTP method, sorry, whenever you place a request for that URL by typing in the URL in the address bar, okay? Whenever you're placing the request for the URL by typing in the address of that URL in the address bar, you see the client will place a get request to fetch that resource from the server. Always the client uses HTTP method get request. Okay, yeah, this is a get request, I can say. Now you can press enter. It says the resource not found. Just a second. My resource, right? My resource. Okay. The prefix is rest. It says it is not found. Oh, I'm sorry. Yeah, that's right. Absolutely. Why we got this issues? Because you see, I forgot that in that configuration file, the package name I've mentioned it as com.mtc.services. I thought of creating that package. I'll do it later, but actually that resource class is in com.example package. Com.example. So give the package name as com.example. Okay, because your framework, your servlet here, which manages this RESTful resource classes, it should be able to identify that particular resource class and it should load it. Yes, it will be managing it. Yeah. Now let's try to we have modified it, right? So those changes will be upgraded. Oh, sorry. We didn't deploy it from here. You see, this is what happens if we try to explicitly deploy it, the story will be different. So now if you can deploy it from the server, it will be better. So because if you make, sorry, from the ID, if you can deploy it from the ID, if you make any changes, they'll be updated. So in the development, always deploy it from the ID itself, because if you make any changes, they'll be updated accordingly. Otherwise, it will be difficult for us. Again, otherwise we have to rebuild the project and again deploy it, copy it, paste it. Yep. Here, rest slash my resource. I'll place the request. You see, once I place the request for that URL, I got that message. Hello world, welcome to RESTful services. Yes. You see, I'm able to call that method using that URL, right? Yes. I'm able to call that method using that URL itself. What is that URL? My resource, which is configured for this class. See, that URL is configured for the class, right? But how we are able to call that method when the URL is configured for the class? How we are able to call the method here? What do people think? Hope you got my question. Because yeah, you see, the client is placing the request for that HTTP method get, right? So whenever the client places a request for HTTP method get for this URL, my resource, so the server understands that we want that method to be invoked here. Yes, that method which is annotated with get. We want to call that method which is annotated with get here. Yes. You see, now when a client places a request, the request won't directly come to this particular resource method. So first of all, who will intercept the request? Who will intercept the request? Now you got that class name here. What is that servlet class name which intercepts this client's request? What is that servlet class name which intercepts that client's request? Servlet container. That servlet class name, you see, here it is configured. It is actually servlet container, I can say. Okay, servlet container. This is a class. You see the URL is REST. So always we'll use the prefix REST here to place the request, so that the request will go through this particular servlet. So that the request will go through this particular servlet, I can say. Yes. And this servlet, now it will take the request and then it will check whether there is any RESTful resource class which is annotated with my resource. Okay. Now this servlet container itself will check whether there is any RESTful resource class which is annotated with that URL my resource. So if it finds it, then it will check the client has used which method to place the request. So the client has used which method to place the request, get. So it will check whether there is any method which is annotated with that HTTP method designated get. So if it finds it, simply it will call that method, and whatever that result that method returns, it will take that result, and in turn it returns it back to the client here. That's it. So hope you people got it. Fine. So any questions in this regard? Any questions? So let's do one thing. Let's try to implement some functionality here. Let's say I'll define a RESTful resource class which takes some input parameters. Okay. For suppose we have already this Hibernate code and all, right. Okay, let's do one thing. We'll see the integration of Hibernate with RESTful services. Okay, let's make use of it, where you will find we'll find how to no you'll find how to integrate them, and also we'll see how to use that Hibernate here. Okay, yeah. So first of all, if you want to integrate RESTful services with Spring, we don't need any separate components or something like that. That the integration is very simple. So what you have to do is here, first of all, if you want to use Hibernate framework here, um, if you want to use Hibernate, then you need Hibernate libraries, right? How do we add Hibernate libraries here? What do people think? How do we add Hibernate libraries here? So we need to explicitly download them, add them to this lib folder, copy them to the lib folder here. Yes. What do people think? I want to use Hibernate framework along with this RESTful services. So what are we supposed to do here? Yes. So we are using Maven, right? So has got Maven has got something to do here with this libraries dependencies. I can say yes. So if you want to use Hibernate here, if you want to use Hibernate, then first of all, what you need to do is you don't need to explicitly download that Hibernate libraries and add them manually. Manually, you don't need to do that. Just provide the details about that Hibernate libraries. So just ask Maven to download that Hibernate libraries, I can say. Okay, just ask Maven to download that Hibernate libraries. How to ask Maven to download that Hibernate libraries? How to ask Maven to download that Hibernate libraries here. You see, in order to do that, first of all, um, we need to add that dependency details. Okay, dependencies. Yes, already have the I've got those dependencies list. So let me simply add it. Okay. Yes, just a minute. We have list full project here. Then what about? Okay, just a minute. Okay, I have that list here. You know, if you want to use Hibernate, so simply add that Hibernate dependencies here. Add Hibernate dependencies list here in the pom.xml file. You see this dependency element, it indicates that we want Hibernate sorry, to add that Hibernate sorry, we want Maven to add that Hibernate libraries here. We want Maven to add that Hibernate libraries. Okay, yes. Next, you see, along with Hibernate, you need one more library. What is it? What is this dependency referring to? Can you people tell me what exactly this dependency refers to? Can you people tell me? Yes, it's JDBC drivers. That's right, exactly. Basically, the dependency, it refers to JDBC drivers. That's it. Okay, yeah. Now we have these two details here. So now Maven will make sure that it adds those dependencies. By the time you save this project already, it might have done that. The Maven tool might have already added those dependencies. Let's see. Where are Maven dependencies? You see under the libraries, you should find this Maven dependencies. Now it has added some additional jars here. You see regarding related to Hibernate. These are all Hibernate jars, libraries. Okay. So simple, right? Yes. So next, if you want to work with Hibernate project, you need a configuration file. Already we have a configuration file, right? Let's make use of it. Okay. Let's make use of it. So I will add it here in this Java folder. So, okay. Okay, I'll just use couple of classes here, product and supplier. That's it. So that configuration file where we are adding it in that Java folder directly. Okay, in that Java resources source folder. Next, I'll copy that product and supplier classes. I'll copy the whole package and later on I'll delete the other files. I need only product and supplier here and delete others. Let's see, we have product and supplier. Next, we have this Hibernate util class. So what is this Hibernate util class? Did you people remember why we use it? Hibernate util class. So to obtain a session factory object, right? Yeah. Fine. Now we have everything in place. Let's do this. Now I'll create a RESTful resource here in that example com.example package itself. New class. Let's say I'll call it as product service. Okay, product service. Or if you want, you can create a separate package itself. Com dot let's say mtdc dot services. Okay. So let's create a separate package. Okay. Oops. Sorry. Com dot mtc dot app dot services. And the package, the class name is product service. Let's say. Okay. Now immediately I'll change that package details in this web.xml file. mtc.app.service, so that now your servlet container will refer to this package for that RESTful resource classes. Okay, yeah. Now you see here, as of now, this is just a normal Java class, that product service class. It's just a normal Java class. I would like to make it a root resource class, a web service here. I want to make it a root resource class. So what to do? What do people think? So annotate it with @path annotation. Annotate it with @path annotation. Okay, @path. You see, this path annotation, it is in which package? Java x.ws.rs, which is actually your RESTful services, JAX RS API. Okay. Now let's configure a URL for this particular resource class. You see the URL we have configured it as product service. Now in this product service class, I would like to add a resource method. I can say I would like to add a resource method. That resource method, it should take product ID as input and should search for the product record using the Hibernate. And once it fetches that record, it should return that product details or the product object, I can say. It should return the product object, I can say. Yes. Okay, yes. So let's add a method. I'll add a method which returns a product object. Say find product by ID, let's say, which takes ID as input. Now you know what, here when it comes to this input parameters, so we have a different way altogether, a different concept altogether of passing the input parameters to this resource methods. Okay, so we have to pass the input parameters altogether in a different way, you can say. So now we have to register this input parameter. You can register it as a path parameter. We'll see. Sorry, path parameter. Path parameter. Let's say ID. Path parameter name is ID. Oh, just a minute. At the rate, you need to add a path slash ID. This is what we need to do. Now this method here, it should take that product ID, and it is supposed to fetch that product record, right? For that it needs a session factory of session here. So we can obtain a session this way using Hibernate util. I'm straight away obtaining the session. Once I got the session, I will call that get method, and I'll mention the product class name. You see I'm using Hibernate to interact with the database. So that web client's request will be handled initially by the RESTful resources, and later on DB interactions will be taken care by the Hibernate here. Okay, yes, this way we can use multiple frameworks together. Product. Just a minute. Don't use name attribute. So this is what you need to do. You see that product ID now, it takes an input parameter, that is ID. So we are registering it as a path parameter. I'll show you people what is path parameter. So while placing the request, we need to pass a path parameter here. So that path parameter, say on top of this method also I've added it at the rate path, within which indicates that here this method takes that path parameter ID. Okay, to call this method additionally we have to pass that path parameter, I can say. Yes. Okay, fine. So we are done. So I'll explain more about it. Now you see one important thing. Okay, now this method returns a product object, right? I don't want this method to return that object straight away. The data which you got here in that product object, it has to be converted to XML format. I want that XML data to be written. That product object should be transformed into XML format. Okay, and that XML data should be passed on to the client here. Yes, what to do? Okay, yes, let's do this. Now what I will do is here, generally how do we handle this requirement, like creating that product, converting that product object data to XML format. So how do we handle it? Yes, how do we transform that Java objects to XML format? You've learned it, you know that. Yes, Marshallar, where it is? Is it Jax? Which one have we have to use here? Jax B or Jax P? Which one do you think is better? Jax P or Jax B? We have two APIs, right? One is Jax B and Jax P. So here in this case, yes, it would be better to use Jax B. Okay, B for what is B for ball? Yes, Jax B, not Jax P. Okay, yeah. Now here, you know what? The good news is we don't need to explicitly handle it. We don't need to call the marshaller, transform this data and all. What all you need to do is just annotate this class with at the rate root element. You know that sorry, XML root element annotation is there now. Just annotate this product class with XML root element. So what this annotation indicates here? Yes, what exactly this annotation indicates? At the rate root element. What it indicates? So this annotation, it indicates that this Java class called as product is mapped to the XML root element, XML root element here. Yes, that's it. We don't have any XML schemas, schema definitions or nothing like that. Still, we can do this. Okay, still you can do this. This is the one thing which you need to do from your side. You know, JAX RS API, internally it uses JAX B to take care of this transformations. JAX RS API, internally it will use JAX B to take care of this transformations, I can say. Okay, yes. Now all you need to do is just add this produces annotation and specify the type, media type, media type dot application XML. That's it. Just add this annotation, produces media type application XML. So this indicates that this method, you know, it basically returns that XML data. But you see, actually this method will not return XML data. What it does, it returns that product object, right? Now the framework will take that product object, and that framework itself will transform that product object to XML format using JAX-B. Framework itself will take that product object and transforms it into XML format. Okay, it does marshalling with the help of marshaller. So framework itself will take care of it. So internally it uses JAX-B for that. Okay, yeah, that's all. We are done. So let's deploy this application on the server. Okay, now you see, I'll place the request for that particular RESTful resource class method, find product by ID. How can I place a request for this method find product by ID here? Can you people tell me? How do I place a request for that method? Yes. For that find product by ID method is the request. Come on, you know that. So we have to place a request for that URL product service. Place a request for that URL product service. That's it. Okay, product service. But before that, use this prefix rest. Now you see, we are placing a get request, so that method will be called, of course. But you know what? Here, that method takes a path parameter, right? Which is nothing but product ID. That method takes a path parameter, which is nothing but a product ID. So how can we pass that path parameter here? That's the question. How can we pass that path parameter? Yes. So path parameters, they're simple to pass. Okay. Yes. Let's see. What you can do is add slash followed by the product ID. Let's say 102 slash followed by the product ID. The path parameter, I can say. That's all you need to do. Okay. I'll place the request. You see. Oops. Just a minute. REST product service didn't work. Let me see once. Okay. Okay. I gave the package name wrong. It's services, typo mistake. That package name is services. I gave it as service here. Okay. See, I'll place a request for this service. Oops. That method is called. See, the Hibernate query is executing. Everything is fine. After that, why we are getting this message? Just a minute. REST product service. Just a minute. Let me redeploy it once. I didn't make any changes. REST slash product service. Sorry. Product service slash 701 requested resource not found. Yeah, I added it here. You see that select query is executing. That method is called. After calling the method, we are getting this error. Let me see the configurations once. That select query is executing if you have noticed it. Let me check this once. We have the records, right? Okay, we have the records here. Let me do one thing. I'll add this message so that we'll come to know when this method is called. Okay, find product by ID. Okay, if this method is invoked, we should be able to see this message. Just a second. Okay, so there's nothing wrong, everything is fine. Oh, sorry, I did one mistake. Can you people tell me what is missing here? There is something missing in this configuration. What is it? That method designator get. The HTTP method designator is missing, right? Yes, that's a problem. Okay. So what's the issue? Let me deploy this application once. Just a minute. It's still deploying. Okay. You see, I'll place the request. Yes. You'll find that the method find product by ID is invoked. And here you got this XML data. So you got the product details as well as the supplier details associated with that product here. Okay. Now I have a question for you people. You see this method which you got here, Now we are calling it as a RESTful resource method, which one find product by ID. Now when we talk about a web service, okay, it's a web service method itself, right? It's a web service. Now if it is a web service, yes, we have discussed about a web service. What is the specialty about web service? What do we mean by web service? We have discussed about it. Can you people just once recollect it? What do we mean by a web service? Yes, the specialty about the web service. Yes, web service means, I gave you a definition. At least read it out. So web service means it encapsulates some business logic, and you see it is basically language and platform independent, and it can be accessed using standards based internet protocols like HTTP, right? That is what I told you people. A web service is a web service encapsulates a piece of business logic or functionality, I can say, you know, which is platform and language independent, and it can be accessed using standards based internet protocols like HTTP. Yes, that is what I told you people regarding the web service. Now you see, now in this method you got some business logic, of course you got some functionality. Can I say that this is platform and language independent? Can I say that this is actually platform independent and language independent? Can you people justify? How can I say that this method which you got here is platform independent and language independent? So this is very important. Yes, think about it carefully and tell me. Okay, you see, running that program is not the problem here. So accessing it makes the difference. Whether it is platform independent or not, now we should be able to figure it out.
Muted. Unmuted.
Hello, can you people hear me? Okay, good. Sorry, I lost the connection. So now you see, based on the accessibility, we should be able to decide whether it is platform or language independent or not. It doesn't matter, as I told you people, it is developed using which language. That's not the problem, okay? And it is executing on which platform is also not the concern. But from where you can access it, how you can consume it, that's the important thing. So now based on that, can you people tell me whether it is platform independent or not? You can also develop a RESTful web service using C, C++, .NET also, if they provide the APIs appropriately. Yes. Maybe you won't do the same way as we are doing here in Java. But the concepts will be same. Yeah. If anyone has answered in between when I lost the connection, I'm sorry. I couldn't go through your question answers. So if you can just freshly tell me again if you answered it already. Can I say that it is language and platform independent? I can say yes, of course. How? First of all, you see, the accessing of this, how we are accessing this RESTful resource method now, how we are accessing the RESTful resource method. Yes, how we are able to access that RESTful resource method. Yes, at least answer this question. You saw that, right? Come on. Using the URL. Using the URL, right? We got a URL here. With the URL, we are trying to access that RESTful resource method, right? So this URL's concept, is it specific to any language or is it specific to any platform? The concept of URLs, is it specific to Java? What do you people think? No, the URLs concept is not specific to Java here. Okay, yes. You'll find that it's just a string which we use in HTTP, right? Yes. HTTP is not language dependent. HTTP is also not specific to any language. Okay. Yes. So that means this URL is not platform independent. Sorry, platform dependent or language dependent. HTTP is language and platform dependent. Sorry, independent. HTTP is platform independent as well as language independent. It is not specific to any language or platform. So you can use HTTP anywhere. Okay. Yes. So we are using HTTP by using that URLs. You see, we are able to access that service. That means any application, which can construct this HTTP requests or construct this URLs, they can access this web service. They will be able to access this web service. Okay, hope everyone got it. Now you see, not only through browsers we can place the request here, we can create any application which is capable of constructing HTTP request, construct that URL and place the request. Yes, such applications can definitely able to access the service, I can say. Okay, yes, they will be able to access the service. There is no question, doubt in this regard. Okay, so that is the first point to justify that this resource method which we have developed is platform independent, the accessibility regarding. Now when it comes to data, you see this method, now you see it returns the data, it responds in the form of XML. It returns that response data which is in the form of XML, right? So the client is getting that XML data. So that XML, is it language or platform dependent? Is it specific to any language or is it specific to any platform? No. XML, it is not specific to any language or it is not specific to any platform. XML is language and platform independent. So that means this XML data which is produced by that web service method, RESTful resource method, can be consumed or can be used by any other application. Yes. So we are making sure that this method, you see, it exchanges data which is completely language and platform independent. That means now, can I call this method as a platform independent and language independent service method? Yes, a web service method. Is it qualified as a web service method? So to call that method, you see, nowhere we have used Java. So we're just using URL, right? That's it. Using HTTP protocol, we are able to place a request for that particular method. You see, the invocation of method, the most important thing, the invocation of that method, we did it using the URL by using HTTP protocol. So, which is very much platform language independent. The data which is written by that method is in the form of XML, which is also language independent and platform independent. That's it. This is the proof. So hope you people got it. Any doubts? Standard format in the sense, yeah, of course it is standard. We can't write our own text. The dependencies will be there. Okay, if you visit official site of Hibernate, you see the way Jersey has provided that Maven, you know, archetype to generate that project. Similarly, you'll find Maven dependencies for Hibernate also. You will find it in the official sites. Yes, you have documentations. You can get it. Okay. Even I found it that way itself. You have to also find it that way itself from the official sites, from the official documentations. You can refer to it. Okay. Yes, that is how you will learn. Yeah. Always, it's a good practice to, you know, read the documentations, refer to the documentations and official sites. Yes. So any other questions? Okay. So I hope this is clear for each and everyone. Can I have yes or no? At least justify now. We have been talking the last 3.5 hours or so. Yes. So can I have yes at one small yes from everyone? Okay. Good. Good. So this is about your RESTful web services. We are not yet done. So we'll continue our discussion. So we'll do it in the next session. Okay. So we got our next class tomorrow morning at 8 a.m. Central Time. Okay. Yes. We got a class tomorrow morning at 8 a.m. Central Time, which will be continuation of this RESTful web services, and we'll be completing it. We'll be able to complete RESTful web services in the next class, tomorrow's morning class. Yeah. Then we'll start with SOAP-based web services. Fine. So 8 a.m. Central Time, Sunday morning. Yep. Thank you all. That's all for now. Good night. Bye-bye.